Computer Science video lecture series. I am Upeka Vendibona, and from this episode we are going to talk about optimizing algorithms. Designing algorithms is about making decisions as a solution for a problem. When making decisions, you have to consider the trade-offs. When something is better, the other thing is bad. When the other thing is better, that something is bad. You have to think about which one you should give the priority. So the optimizations is all about your reflections of that priority. For example, consider any given task. You may want to optimize to complete the task in the shortest time or using the least amount of space. Space in the sense the effort, resources, etc. So here, which one you would give the priority? Completing the task with the shortest time or completing it with the minimum space? So that's all about optimization. When talking about algorithm optimizations, we cannot forget the term complexity. They are more closely related. Now think, for the same problem, you and your friend have arrived with two algorithm solutions. Now, how do you know if your algorithm is good? How you compare these two algorithms? So for that, we need to measure the complexity. There are two types of complexities, time complexity and space complexity. Time complexity means how long does the algorithm take. Space complexity means how much space does the algorithm use. So for the algorithm, the less complex, that's the better. I'll explain these two concepts using two examples. Here is a time-efficient solution for a grocery shopping problem. The first step is drive a large car to the grocery store, and the second step is buy everything you need. This solution saves the time but requires you to have a large car. This means it has lower time complexity and a higher space complexity. Now here is a space-efficient solution. The first step is walk to the grocery store with a tote bag, buy one item, walk home and drop off the item. The fourth step is repeat until done. So here this solution takes a longer time but doesn't require a car. That means it has a higher time complexity but lower space complexity. Okay, now in this episode I want to give more focus on the time complexity. That means how long does an algorithm take? To go much deeper in the time complexity concept, I'm going to use another example. Organize your clothes. It's a difficult problem to solve, doesn't it? The quick solution is dump clothes on the floor. Now, how long does the algorithm take? Well, actually, it only takes 2 seconds. Whatever the number of items you have, 4 items, 8 items, 16 items, whatever, it only takes just 2 seconds. If we write this in formal words, we can write if n equals to items of clothing, it takes n multiplies by 0 plus 2. When we write the time complexity, we use the character capital O. In the algorithms, we call that big O. So here it is big O2. As 2 is a constant, we can simplify it as big O1. If we draw the time complexities in a graph, that horizontal line highlighted is the time complexity of this solution. Later in this episode, we are also going to discuss about the other curves displayed in here. Here is another solution, version 2. The first step is dump clothes on the bed. The second step is pick up each piece of clothing, put in a pile for that type, that means shirts, underwear, socks, etc. The third step is, after all are in piles, go through each item in each pile and hang up each one. If we write down this in a pseudocode, we can write it like this. In the first line, we mention all the types of piles, shirts, socks, etc. In the second line, we loop through all the clothing items in the laundry. Inside that loop, we put each of the clothing item into the correct type of pile. Outside the loop, we loop through all the types of piles, and inside that loop, we take each pile and go through each of the clothing item. And we hang up that clothing item. Now, how long does the algorithm takes? Let's say for putting an item in a pile takes 10 seconds and for hanging up an item takes 30 seconds. And that means if it is 4 items, 4 multiplied by 10 plus 4 multiplied by 30, it take 160 seconds. For 8 items, it take 8 multiplied by 10 plus 8 multiplied by 30, it is equal to 320. If it is 16 items, 16 multiplied by 10 plus 16 multiplied by 30. It is equal to 640 seconds. If we write this in formal words, if n equals items of clothing, it takes n multiplied by 10 plus n multiplied by 30. That means the answer is depending on the items of clothing, the n. Therefore, we can write it like big O n. If we draw this in a time by number of clothing items graph, this time complexity is represented by the diagonal line highlighted. So this line tells us when the number of clothing items keep increasing, the time will also keep increasing. But for the time complexity in the previous solution, you can see it is constant. Whatever the input number is, the time is also the same. Here is another solution, the version 3. It adds up another step to the version 2. We sort our clothes as we hang up them in the closet. In the pseudocode, the first line says all the types of the piles, shirts, socks, etc. In the second line, the closet, sock drawer, shirt section, etc. And then we loop through all the clothing items in the laundry. Inside that loop, we pile up each of the clothing item to the correct type. And then we loop through each type of piles. We take one type of a pile and loop through each of the clothing items. And then we identify which section each of the clothing item belongs to. And we look through each of the section and put that clothing item in the correct position by comparing the colors. I'll explain this in a more illustrative way. Here we have one type of a pile and we loop through each of the item in this pile. As we loop through, we identify which section each of the item belongs to and then we compare each of the item with what's already in the section. For example, we take the first item, as there is nothing in the section, we put it anyhow, and then we take the second item, we compare it with the first item and put that where it belongs. And then we take the third item, we compare it with the first item and second item and put that in the place where it belongs. And likewise, we take the fourth item and the fifth item and compare what is already in the section. Okay, now we have to add the data of the additional step of the version 3. As we loop through the closet section items each time we hang up an item and each look at an item takes 2 seconds, we can say if there are 4 items and 4 items in one section, it will take 4 multiplied by 10 plus 4 multiplied by 30, that is from the data in the previous step, and plus 4 multiplied by 4 multiplied by 2. And this part is added because we have to compare each item with the items in a section. If we write it down in formal words, we can write if n equals to number of items of clothing as well as number of items in a section, it will take n multiplied by 10 plus n multiplied by 30 plus n multiplied by n multiplied by 2. Now this answer contains 3 parts. When the n is getting bigger, gradually increasing, you can see the third part is getting the more power. Well, actually it doesn't show you when the n is a lower number, but think n equals to 20. The first component will give you 200, the second component will give you 600, and the third component will give you 800. Therefore, to write down the big O notation, we ignore the first and the second component and take this third component. We say the final value is totally depending on this third component. Now it has n multiplied by n multiplied by 2. That means it is mostly depending on the n multiplied by n to the power of 2. So in the big O notations, we write down big O n to the power of 2. Now if we draw this in our time complexity graph, the highlighted curve is represent this time complexity. big O n squared. When you look at this curve, you can see when the input number is a lower number, the slope is very slow. The time is not very much quickly increasing. But when the input number is very much high, the slope is very high and the time is very much quickly increasing. That's how the n squared ruling the world. Now in this time complexity graph, we have covered up big O constant, that means big O1, and the big O n and big O n squared. There are four other types of time complexities that is highly talking about in this field. Big O n to the power of n, big O n to the power of 3, big O n root, big O log n. But those are out of our scope. I just mentioned here because I felt that they will be useful for you in the near future. Now this graph summarizes everything about the time complexities. Let's consider only what we have learned in here. The first one, constant. That means big O1. In a statement, when there are two numbers to be added, the time it takes is a constant value. Therefore, we say big O1. Now the third one, n, the big O(n), we called it linear. When we have to find the maximum by going through a loop, we use this big O(n), the linear search. The fifth row, n squared, big O(n) squared. When we have to check all the pairs by using double loop, we use this quadratic big O. The growth of logarithmic, linearitmic, cubic and exponential will be out of our scope, but you may find them in the near future. Okay, now you know there are two types of complexities, time complexity and space complexity. Now what is the most important, time or space? This is depending on the time requirement of your algorithm or the space requirement of your algorithm. If you have a time requirement, then you have to consider the time complexity. If there is a space requirement, then you have to consider the space complexity. And remember, lesser the complexity, that is the better. Now let's move on to see the practical usages of the algorithms. When you type a search into Google, it uses very sophisticated algorithm that determines which page on the internet are relevant to your search and ranks them based on how relevant and reputable they are. At its core, the PageRank algorithm takes into account how many other sites link to a given web page as well as the rank of the linking sites in order to determine the rank of that page. And it returns your result in less than a second. So that's about Google search. Now the algorithms that recommends connection on social media, like the people you may know recommendations on Facebook or LinkedIn, works by calculating your degrees of separations from other users. For example, if you are friends with Emmy and Emmy is friends with Ben, Facebook assumes that you might know Ben as well and recommends him as a potential connection. But if Emmy is friends with Ben and Ben is friends with Charlene and Charlene is friends with Dan and Dan is friends with Irvin, Facebook is unlikely to recommend Irvin as a connection. In fact, scientists have theorized that because of how globally connected we all are, there are only 6 degrees of separations between any two people on the earth. That's an additional information, but anyway, that's how the Facebook recommends you the people you may know. Now, when you use Amazon or Netflix, they recommend purchases of other things that you might be interested based on the collaborative filtering algorithm that tries to predict what users will like based on the choices of other users with similar taste profiles. So that's another way of algorithm usage. Efficient algorithms for searching and sorting are crucial for building software that runs quickly. These and the other basic algorithms underlie most of your technology, from the YouTube video you stream to your phone to the face detection on your camera. How does YouTube stream to your phone so fast and seamlessly? How does your camera search for faces, all of which look very different depending on the person, the lighting, and the distance? It might seem like your computer is making the kind of intelligent decisions that we normally think of as uniquely human, like making connections and educated guesses. But each of these is powered by a very complex algorithm that determines how to best accomplish the task using probability and logic. Before ending up this episode, let's summarize what we have covered up to now. We learned the formal definition of the algorithm. The algorithm means a repeatable process for determining a solution to a problem. And then we learned two types of complexities: time complexity, how long the algorithm takes; the space complexity, how much space the algorithm takes; and the optimization, making an algorithm take less time or less space. With that, we are going to mark the end of this episode. From the next lecture, we will talk about the properties of algorithms. Thank you for watching and stay tuned on with Edupedia World.